It's incredibly exciting that we're able to offer this technology and analytics concentration in our public policy and management degree. Every government in the world has got a mandate to affect the digital transformation of its services. Lots of people talk about this, but very few people actually understand what it means. Let me try you out on a couple of examples. 90% of the call-outs to the fire department turn out to be false call-outs. There is no problem other than an alarm has been tripped. Over time, you assemble the data, you can understand what's tripping that alarm, and you can get that 90% number down to a much smaller number and save large amounts of money and operate the whole service much more efficiently for the benefit of the entire population. Another example is the customs service. Every country has a customs service. Goods come in and they get distributed. Unfortunately, history has shown that customs is very prone to being affected by corruption. When we use the data, we can see the flow of goods as they come in across the wharves, and we can detect where they're stopping, and we can expose corruption in that way. Now, these are just two practical examples of the sorts of potential that digital transformation offers. However, if you simply leave it to the IT department to do the digital transformation, you will fail, because you will fail to get the kinds of policies and governance that are needed to have sustainable service delivery. If you leave it to the policy people, you will fail as well, because the technology will not be applied to its maximum potential. To do these things, you need to know in some depth about both policy and the potential of digital transformation applied to public services. You don't need to be in government to do it. In some ways, you're better off outside of government. But this will be happening across government and all the people that consult to government, as we see the biggest single transformation which has ever taken place in government services. The people who study our degree will be positioned like no others to participate in that transformation. One of the things that I'm really excited about this course is going to be to watch the progress of our graduates that emerge from it. When you think about it, the opportunities are almost endless. Every government's going to have its own digital transformation office, and it will be staffed with quality people. It will need to be staffed with quality people who can actually lead a process. Now, to lead that process, one of the things those people need is that they need to be able to draw upon the experience of other governments. The governments that succeed here will be the ones not to try and invent the whole thing for themselves, but the ones that can quickly pick up on the lessons and the learnings from the experience of other governments in going through the digital transformation process. So I see careers for our people not only in leading those digital transformation processes within government, but especially being able to advise governments from outside through the private sector, drawing upon the experience of their firms and their own personal experience of what's happened in other jurisdictions, both national and regional. This information and experience will be invaluable to governments looking to progress their own digital transformation. And then finally, a big role is going to be to advise government, both from within and from without, about reform, using the digital transformation to reform their service delivery in such critical areas as delivery of health services, education services, infrastructure planning and infrastructure execution services. And these are roles that cannot be accomplished within government alone. In fact, government is increasingly less able to do this on its own. So they will be drawing on their own people, but importantly, drawing on outside sources, and much of that will come through the consulting industry, where there's an embedded knowledge of how these things have been done in other places. That's where you'll find our graduates.